Did you all see this new federal data that just came out? Because apparently the number of young adults identifying as LGBTQ has actually dropped since its peak a few years ago. Check this out. According to an analysis of the CDC survey data, back in 2022, about 20% of Americans ages 18 to 24 said that they identified as lesbian, gay, or bisexual, which is an insane number. But now by 2025, that number dropped by just over 15%. That's about a 21% decline in just 3 years. And the biggest change seems to be among young women identifying as bisexual. And that number had climbed pretty fast for years. And now it started to fall again. The data comes from the CDC's behavioral risk factor surveillance system. And what this does, it basically surveys hundreds of thousands of Americans every year. So the data set is a freaking pretty large one. Researchers are saying that these trends that are like this usually show up first among young adults and could reflect a broader cultural shift that's happening over time. But right now, the big question is whether this is just a temporary change or is it the start of a longer trend? Now, I'm curious what you think. Do you think this is just a cycle or do you think something bigger is going on? Let me know in the comment section.
Definitely something bigger going on. The reason why I say that is this: being gay, lesbian, trans, it's not cool anymore and it's not profitable. Every time we look at a situation, every time we look at change, every time we look at wars, every time you look at anything, first thing you need to do is follow the money. What's happening now within the trans community? The funding is getting cut, right? They can't go and get treatment. They can't get the government to pay for these surgeries and pay for the transition. So what happens? The numbers drop, right? The LGBTQ community is not getting separate funding just for them to do whatever they want. The money's going to drop. So when the money drops, and now if you want to live that lifestyle, that's okay. That's what you want to do, but you have to pay for it. See, what was happening for quite a long time is this community was getting money from the federal government to do whatever they want to do. I always believed in this. And this is why I'm a Republican. This is why I'm conservative. I don't have a problem if you're part of this community, if you pay for it. I have a problem with the community if you're taking my money to transition yourself, to continue to put out an agenda to target our kids and put pressure on big companies to show more and more and more because you're using my money. If you want to be gay, if you want to be lesbian, if you want to be trans, that's okay. Use your money. So even you starting to see this even in the medical realm, right? NYU, big time of a hospital in New York, they stopping the transition stuff and the treatments for young people while they're stopping it. Why? Why? It's because the money drying up. They're doing the same thing in California. They're worried about the budget because they're not getting special funding for the LGBTQ plus community. This is why I tell you guys to follow the money. As we see with this administration, sorry, you do not get ahead because you are part of this community. If you want to be gay, that's fine. If you want to do the things that you want to do, use your money. See, I don't have a problem with that. I respect everybody. I respect everybody's choice. But I don't respect you pushing your agenda by using my money. Well, what do you mean your money? Taxpayer money. We were using taxpayer money to help kids transition and getting therapy and paying for their hormone blockers or testosterone shots, estrogen shots. We were paying for that. They were getting special funding to mess up our kids. So what's happening now? The kids don't want to transition no more. Why? Why the kids don't want to do it? They can't afford it. There's no programs. If you want to do something, then pay for it. I've always felt that community, right? Back in the day, that's what they did, right? You want to be a part of that community because that's your choice. You didn't get extra money. But what we seen this amongst Hollywood. We've seen this amongst Hollywood. We've seen this even amongst athletes. They start dressing feminine. They start going towards that community because you know why? That community was hot. You were like 50 Cent when he first dropped. Nobody could tell y'all nothing. So everybody started advertising toward it. You start seeing actors and actresses saying, I'm gay. They saying that so they can be in the movies. But now what do you see now? A lot of people pulling back. You know why I was confused? No, you was doing it for the money. I always tell people, man. Money. follow the money. The LGBTQ community was getting so much money. Why do you think the T and the Q got on with the LGB community? Because of money, funding, federal dollars. Our money from taxpayers was going to these places where they were changing our kids, where they were using that money to give to organizations to fight and make these other corporations show stuff to our kids that they're not ready to see. Remember what Disney was doing? The reason why they had to fire their CEO is because they started putting all this stuff in the movies and they was trying to get to who? Our kids. They were holding funding from certain school districts unless they had an LGBTQ community curriculum in the classes. Pushing in California, non-gender bathrooms, saying there is no, male and female, confusing our kids. Now it's all that's changing. Why? Because the money dried up. What you see in this world, man, what you see in this country, what you gonna see, man, money. It all comes down to money. Being gay, being lesbian, being trans, it's not hot no more. It's not profitable. It's not the thing that you can make money. Now people, what they doing now? You can even see it in the clothing. Not everybody wearing tight clothing no more, only the ladies now. Remember the men used to wear tight pants and looking like rock stars? Now it's what? Baggy fit, more masculine fit. The men are changing back to going back to men because it's no longer profitable to look feminine. See what I'm saying? They were following the trend. See, and what I love is if you're going to be lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, if that's what you want to be, and you really still doing that now, it's because you want to do that. And I respect that because that's what you want to do. You're doing it because that's what you want to do. You're not doing it because it's hot, because that's putting money in your pocket. You're doing it because that's part of your lifestyle. That's how it was before. I do not believe just because you are part of this community, you get special treatment. It needs to be equal opportunity. There's no reason why you guys got billions and billions and billions of dollars while other people in America didn't. That sounds like discrimination a little bit, right? But the reason why you see these numbers dropping, especially in the youth, right? Because the money's not in the youth anymore to push that agenda. They don't have the money anymore. So they can't use the money for the advertising. They can't use the money to put it into what? The TV shows that your kids watch every day. They don't have the funding. They're not getting special funding. When you saw these TV shows doing this, they was getting special funding. If you do these type of shows, we're going to give you more money because you're pushing what we want you to push. But now what do we see? We see a large decrease. Remember when we used to watch TV shows? It seemed like they always had to have one or two gay characters. They always had to have it no matter what. They had to have a gay character. Why did they do that? You think they did that because they care? No, they did that because they care about money. Nobody cares about what you want to do in your lifestyle. But they only care if they can profit off of it. That's what you got to understand. Stop thinking that people care that you gay. Stop thinking that people care that you lesbian. The reason why you was hot, the reason why the trans community is hot, or they doing it in too, it's because of the money. So we support y'all, and the government gonna give us money. But we got an administration now that's like, nah, we're not supporting that because what does that damage? Our kids. We want our kids to be kids. If they turn 18 and they still want to be in that community, more power to you. But what was happening, they was using that money, our money, to attack our kids and get to them early. That was the problem. But that's why the numbers is dropping. People always talking about data. Data is real. It's real. If there's a drop in this, it tells you what? You correlate that drop and you look at the funding that they're getting. The funding has gone down. You have a lot of states right now talking about we in a deficit. Why are they in a deficit? Because they was getting money specifically for supporting and putting more and more emphasis on this community. Remember, man, I tell you guys, I talk about this on No Filter Morning Show. If it don't make money for somebody, they don't care. And what you're starting to see with these numbers, people are caring less and less and less. It's because they're not getting paid off of it anymore. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. As always, going to keep this thing rocking. Make sure you tune into the Patreon. Link is in the description below. Hit the notification bell to see all new videos. Monday through Friday at 10:21 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we got the live stream. No Filter Morning Show. Make sure you check it out, learn something. But I appreciate you guys. To the haters, I see you. I see you watching me, watching you. We're going to keep it going. I appreciate you guys, and I'm out.